Where are the Duggar family members now? What we know about their lives amid Joseph Duggar's arrest. For years, the Duggar family was one of the most recognizable families in reality television. Millions of viewers watched their lives unfold on television through the series 19 Kids and Counting, and later, Counting On. The family became known for its conservative values, large household, and strict religious beliefs. Today, however, the Duggar family is once again facing intense public scrutiny following the arrest of Joseph Duggar. The case has attracted widespread media attention and renewed interest in the lives of the Duggar siblings and their parents. Joseph Duggar, once viewed as one of the quieter members of the family, was arrested in March 2026 on charges related to allegations involving a minor. Authorities in Florida accused him of lewd and lascivious conduct involving a child during a family vacation that allegedly took place in 2020. Joseph has pleaded not guilty, and the legal proceedings remain ongoing. Reports indicate that additional charges involving child endangerment and false imprisonment were later filed in Arkansas against both Joseph and his wife, Kendra. The couple has denied wrongdoing. As the investigation continues, many people are asking the same question. Where are the members of the Duggar family now, and how has Joseph's arrest affected their lives? Jim Bob Duggar remains one of the most controversial figures in the family. As the patriarch who guided the family's television career for years, he has largely stayed out of the spotlight in recent months. While he continues to manage family properties and business interests in Arkansas, public appearances have become increasingly rare. Critics and former viewers continue to debate his leadership of the family and his handling of previous scandals involving family members. Michelle Duggar has also maintained a relatively low profile. Once a constant presence on television and social media, Michelle has appeared only occasionally in public. Sources close to the family suggest that she continues focusing on family matters and supporting her children through ongoing legal and personal challenges. Jana Duggar, the oldest Duggar daughter, spent years being referred to by fans as the family's most independent child. After decades of helping raise her younger siblings, Jana eventually began building a life that appeared more separate from the family structure that made her famous. In recent years, she has focused on personal projects, home improvement interests, and private family life. Unlike many of her siblings, she tends to avoid controversy and rarely comments on major family scandals. Jill Duggar has become one of the most outspoken members of the family. Over the years, Jill and her husband, Dillard, have publicly discussed disagreements with the family's leadership and their experiences growing up in the Duggar household. Following Joseph's arrest, Jill was among the family members reported to have expressed concern for the alleged victim and emphasized the importance of accountability. Jessa Duggar continues to maintain an online presence through social media and family-related content. While she generally avoids discussing legal controversies in detail, she remains one of the best-known Duggar siblings. Reports indicate that she, like several other family members, has attempted to focus attention on her immediate family rather than ongoing public scandals. Jinger Duggar has spent the last several years establishing a life far from Arkansas. Living with her husband, Jinger Vuolo, she has written books, participated in interviews, and openly discussed aspects of her upbringing. Many observers see Jinger as one of the family members who has undergone the most visible transformation since leaving reality television. Jana Duggar has focused heavily on family life and social media content with her husband Austin Forsyth. Although she generally avoids public disputes, her online presence has allowed followers to continue tracking her life after television. John David Duggar and his wife Abby have remained among the more private members of the family. While occasional updates appear online, they rarely participate in public discussions involving family controversies. Joseph's wife, Kendra Duggar, faces her own legal challenges connected to the Arkansas case. Reports indicate that she has remained supportive of her husband while also dealing with the practical consequences of the ongoing legal proceedings. Recent reports suggest that family properties have been listed for sale as legal expenses continue to grow. Meanwhile, Joseph himself remains at the center of the legal battle. He was released after posting bond, but continues facing significant restrictions imposed by the court. Recent hearings resulted in a judge allowing only supervised contact with his children while denying requests for unsupervised visitation. His next court appearances are expected to play a major role in determining how the case proceeds. The arrest has once again placed the Duggar family under a microscope. For years, the family built a public image centered on faith, family values, and unity. Today, that image faces renewed questions as legal proceedings continue and public attention intensifies. Whether the family chooses to address the controversy directly or continue remaining largely silent, one thing is certain: the Duggar story remains far from over. Long before the current legal controversy surrounding Joseph Duggar, the family had already undergone dramatic changes. When 19 Kids and Counting first premiered, viewers were introduced to a family unlike almost any other on television. Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar presented themselves as devoted parents raising 19 children according to conservative Christian values. The series attracted millions of viewers who were fascinated by the family's unique lifestyle, strict rules, and emphasis on faith. For many years, the Duggars became one of reality television's most recognizable families. Viewers watched birthdays, weddings, pregnancies, and major life milestones. As the children grew older, many developed their own fan followings. However, life after reality television proved far more complicated. The family's public image began facing significant challenges as controversies emerged involving several family members. As a result, some of the Duggar children started moving in different directions from the path that viewers had seen on television. One of the most noticeable changes involved increasing independence among several of the adult siblings. Jill Duggar and her husband, Dillard, became some of the first family members to publicly discuss disagreements with the family's leadership. Over time, Jill shared details about the difficulties she experienced while transitioning away from the environment in which she was raised. Her comments attracted significant media attention because they provided a rare glimpse into life behind the scenes of one of reality television's most famous families. Jinger Duggar followed a somewhat similar path. After moving away from Arkansas, Jinger began speaking openly about aspects of her upbringing. Through interviews and books, she discussed how her views evolved over time. While she continued to identify as a Christian, many observers noted that her lifestyle differed considerably from the one viewers remembered from the family's television years. Meanwhile, other Duggar siblings chose a very different approach. Jessa Duggar largely focused on family life and social media. Rather than discussing family disputes in public, she concentrated on raising her children and maintaining an online presence centered around everyday life. Jana Duggar also continued sharing updates about her family while generally avoiding public controversy. As the years passed, a clear pattern emerged. Some Duggar siblings appeared willing to discuss difficult family issues publicly. Others preferred privacy, and a few remained almost completely silent. This difference in approach became especially noticeable whenever major news stories involving the family appeared. Each sibling seemed to respond in a different way. Some released statements. Some addressed questions directly. Others avoided commenting entirely. These different responses reflected the reality that the Duggar children were no longer living under one roof. They had become adults with their own families, careers, and priorities. As a result, public expectations that the entire family would respond as a single unit became increasingly unrealistic. Despite these differences, public interest in the Duggar family never completely disappeared. Even years after their television programs ended, stories involving the family continued generating headlines. That interest intensified once again following Joseph Duggar's arrest. News of the case spread quickly across social media platforms and entertainment news outlets. Many former viewers who had not followed the family in years suddenly found themselves paying attention again. Questions began emerging almost immediately. How would the family respond? Would relatives publicly support Joseph? Would anyone speak on behalf of the alleged victim? Would divisions within the family become more visible? In many ways, these questions reflected a broader issue. The Duggar family had spent years building a public identity centered on unity. Now observers wanted to know whether that unity still existed. Reports suggested that reactions within the extended family varied. Some relatives reportedly focused on supporting the legal process and protecting children involved in the case. Others chose not to comment publicly at all. Because many family members maintain private lives, it remains difficult to know exactly how each individual has responded. What is clear, however, is that the legal proceedings have once again brought national attention to a family that had largely stepped away from the spotlight. The situation has also renewed discussions about the long-term impact of reality television on large families. For years, viewers watched the Duggar children grow up in front of cameras. Many of those children are now adults raising families of their own. Some have embraced public attention. Others have actively avoided it. The contrast highlights how differently people can respond to growing up in the public eye. Several former child reality television stars from other programs have described similar challenges. Privacy becomes difficult. Public expectations remain high. Past events continue influencing present-day lives. For the Duggar family, these challenges have been especially visible because of the extraordinary amount of attention they received during their television years. Even today, former viewers continue following updates about marriages, births, career changes, and family relationships. The current legal case involving Joseph Duggar has therefore become more than a single news story. For many observers, it represents another chapter in the ongoing evolution of a family that spent years sharing its life with the world. As court proceedings continue, many questions remain unanswered. Legal experts emphasize that allegations alone do not determine guilt and that the judicial process must be allowed to proceed. At the same time, advocates for victims stress the importance of thoroughly investigating claims involving children. These competing concerns have become central to public discussion surrounding the case. For the Duggar family, the months ahead may prove critical. Future court hearings could reveal additional information. Family members may choose to speak publicly or remain silent. Public interest is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. Regardless of the outcome, the situation has already become one of the most significant challenges the family has faced since leaving reality television. And as attention continues focusing on Joseph Duggar's legal battle, many observers remain interested in another question. How are the younger Duggar siblings navigating life away from the cameras, and what role do they play in the family's future? That question has become increasingly important as a new generation of Duggars reaches adulthood and begins making decisions about how much of their lives they want the public to see.